In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can create this super colorful rainbow alcohol ink art. It's interchangeable, inexpensive, and fun to make. So stick around, that's coming up next. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Art with J. Monteith. And this week I'm very excited to be able to finally bring you a brand new tutorial on YouTube. I have been away in hiatus for the last several weeks. I've been working away on my upcoming e-courses that are launching June 1st, all to do with alcohol ink and resin, and specifically with regards to my processes and my techniques around collage building, and I guess more specifically my mod minis, which is what I'm known for. I'll be teaching you guys all of that, so there's something different to what you see here on YouTube, and lots of troubleshooting and lots of participation and interaction. So if you're interested at all in those upcoming e-courses that I'll be offering, then I will leave a link down below in the description box where you can sign up for my newsletter and get notification of those courses that will be coming up shortly. But without further ado, I'd like to bring to you this week's tutorial on my funky rainbow alcohol ink art. This is really easy to do. It's very inexpensive and it looks great. So I think we need to get started with this project, and I will share with you all the things that you need in order to create this week's project. Okay, so the items that you will need for this week's project are as follows. The first item you'll need is a piece of plexiglass. This is an 8x10 standard thickness that I picked up from Home Depot. So you can pick these up at most hardware supply stores. They come in different sizes, but this is the size that we'll be using for this week's project. You can, of course, use glass if you wish. However, I use this because it's just a safer alternative. So a piece of plexiglass is the first thing you'll need. And then for our background element to our plexiglass, which will show through, you'll be needing a piece of Yupo paper. And of course, this is from the most popular brand on the market, which is Legion. This is medium weight Yupo paper. And again, this is in the pad format, which you can buy now in different varieties. You can buy it in larger sheets and even in rolls now. But either way, you'll need a piece of Yupo paper. And then of course, you'll require your inks, whatever colors you choose for both the background element and then onto your plexiglass. So I'll be using inks by Jacquard, as I always do. This is from the Pinata line. The alcohol inks, I really like the Jacquard. And then you will require, to prevent your project from fading, you can use a UV protectant. I like to use the Krylon UV Archival. So I will be using that as a finish on my project. And then, of course, to hang my project, quite simply, you can use either these Command damage-free hanging hooks by 3M. These are really cool and handy to have. Easy to install and remove from your wall without damaging. So there's those. Or you can just use a standard, I just used a silver clip that I've picked up from my local office supply store. Now, if you don't want to use alcohol inks at all for your background, then that's fine. You can embellish on even just plain paper, or you could use a colorful cardstock. I've got several different colors here. These also look good behind your finished project on your plexiglass, so you could use those as well. If you don't want to use a metallic and you would like to actually draw something on your background as an embellishment, then you can use several different products. These are a few of my favorites. The Pabo 4 Artist Marker, the gold metallic, and of course one of my very favorites, which is the Krylon 18 karat gold leafing pen. This has a great sheen and a great color of gold. It works really well in conjunction with the Pinata rich gold color. So you can use those also if you wish. All right, so I think we're ready to get started, and let's begin. All right, the first step to this project is actually working on the foreground, which is the plexiglass. So you need to remove the backing. There's backing on both sides of this plexiglass. So just remove one for now. You'll see that it looks a bit foggy on one side because of the covering, but we're going to be working on the front side for now. So remove that backing piece, and then the next item that you'll need, and I failed to mention at the beginning, is you'll actually be needing a masking layer to use over top of our inks. So I'm actually going to be using contact paper. This is the best material to use for this. Obviously, you can pick this up at most home hardware supply stores, wherever. So you'll be needing some contact paper. And you can create basically any shape you want. I'm going to just start off with a heart. And when we put our inks on, we don't want to cover the entire surface. You know, we don't want to waste too much ink. We can save as much as possible. So just know that you'll be probably covering a square this size. This is from another heart that I cut out, just the backing left over. So I'm going to be using that as a guide. But we'll be cutting that out here from our contact paper and then actually sticking that on. So the very first thing we want to do is actually layer some ink on here. And I'm going to create somewhat of a rainbow kind of color. I like the bright rainbow colors at the moment. I'm very much into that. So I will start with some pink and then some yellow and some blue. And then I'm just going to overlap them a little bit so I get that mix of color. All right, so I'm just going to put some ink on here, some pink. And the great thing about this project is if you make an error, you don't like it, then you can use some alcohol and you can just remove that. Or if better still, you can use some Jacquard cleanup solution, which I recommend over alcohol because of the smell. I know a lot of people have issues with the smell of alcohol. So, and just some blue here. And maybe a bit more pink on the end to make some purple. Just to blend it all in is just to take some saran wrap. We're not going to be doing a specific technique. This is just more to blend it all in. And we're going to pull it off within a couple minutes. It's just so that you just get a nice color mix in here. And then essentially this is going to be our heart shape over there. So I'm just going to leave that for a few minutes just to let it soak up a little bit. That'll look good. There's a lot of people that want to know how to mix colors, especially when you have a limited palette. Jacquard does only have so many colors in their exciter pack. But if you know the basics of color theory and color mixing, then you can really essentially mix any color that you want. Whereas the Ranger, I believe, has a more extensive line of colors that you can select from. So if you don't want to mix your own colors, then that's fine. Okay, I'm just going to pull this off, and you just get a soft melding effect. They just come together and form a more of a billowy, soft look. Whereas if you leave the saran wrap on until it's dry, which usually takes about 24 hours, and you get a completely different effect. But I wanted everything to blend together seamlessly and have a nice soft look. So this is where we're at right now. Now this I'm going to leave to dry completely before I then add a bit more textural type drops to this. All right, I actually added a little bit more blending solution just to give it a bit of a different look, and I'll show you the difference between this one and another one. So the blending solution obviously makes the ink flow more and pushes it out and actually gives it more of a softer look. And then this one here from the original that I did has more of the circular bubbles in there that you can see. And that was just done with the actual ink being dropped on itself. I didn't add any blending solution to this one at all. So just so that you can see the different kind of looks. This is more flowy, and then this one is more of the bubbles just dropped on. Okay, so that's how you can get some different effects there. But again, this just needs a little bit more time to dry, and then we can start cutting out our contact paper and then sticking that on. So actually I will move this off to the side, and we can cut out our heart here. So I'm just going to use the same one. It's just going to be easier. I actually did freehand this, which is probably my best freehand heart to date. So I'm going to draw around that. So just let me get a pen here. And a pair of scissors, and I'll cut this out. And I'm now going to adhere my contact paper heart to my ink here. So peeling it just takes a little bit of patience. And I'm going to start at the bottom here. And right about there, I think. Looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to remove the rest of the ink on the outside. So I'm just going to grab some paper towel. Now, I did mention earlier that you can use alcohol to clean up and remove ink, but if you do have sensitivity to smells and you're not necessarily in a well-vented area, which you should be, always consider your safety, then I highly recommend the cleanup solution over the alcohol, only because there is a very low odor with this. It is much more expensive, obviously, but for safety and your health, then I would recommend using this. And of course, taking extra precaution, you can indeed wear a mask. Now there's several options here. You can rub off the entire ink, or you can play with it and get more of a filtered look, transparent look. It's totally up to you. I like to remove it all because I'm putting a different background on the back side of the plexiglass, but you could see how you could really play around with this. And that's why I mentioned earlier too that if you can just work in the area that you'll be using the contact paper, then you don't waste as much ink, because these products are expensive, as most art supplies are these days. So wherever you can save, then I would highly recommend that. So you can see how this is now coming off quite easily. And again, like I mentioned earlier, if you make mistakes at the beginning, this is how easy it is to actually remove the ink. So I'm just going to continue one more layer here on the paper towel, and then we can remove the contact paper. Okay, I just put a fresh piece of paper down there, and now you can see that there's just the heart left over, and if you flip it over, you can see the ink on the other side, which is now part of underneath this contact paper. So I am now going to remove this and see how it turned out. Just pulling off gently here. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. So you can see, as I mentioned before, how you have the blended one and then you've got more of the bubble one here. I like them both. They're both really pretty. Okay, so that is our step there. I'm going to leave that dry a little bit longer before I actually spray with the UV protectant. And then obviously we'll remove the back side. We still have the backing on this one. But let's move on to the next step, which is now our background on our Yupo paper. Okay, what we will need is 1 sheet of our Yupo paper here. Put that aside. And I can show you here just all of the different textures that you can create and to get different looks and effects here. And I'll just show you a couple here. So this is what our result will look like. You can do all kinds of things. I love the rainbow look. You could even do half and half. You could do, there's some gold here up here I really like. So I might do on a separate piece. I'm just kind of getting some ideas here. So I might just do a gold look up there. I really like that a lot. So I'm going to do a gold one and then I'm going to do a speckled one. I think that's going to look good. I also have lots of videos on different methods of achieving different looks and effects with alcohol inks. So I'll leave some links in this video and then feel free to check those out. I'm going to just do a speckled look here. So when you want to get a speckled kind of look, the key is to use almost an empty bottle of ink so that you can use it almost like a sprayer. Like this. And it comes out in a speckled look. But again, this only works if you have just, like literally a couple drops left in the bottle. So I like to keep my bottles and use them for things like that. And I don't know, I might even do a couple drops as well on this piece here. I really like how I get a few little dots as well. I think that's going to look kind of pretty, although it's nice just plain like that too. Maybe I'll just leave it. All right, I like the look of that one. I'm going to leave that. And then I think on my gold sheet, I'm just going to flip this one over and just do a purple spray also on here. And leave it, because I think I'm going to do a purple and a pink one. I just think the subtlety looks great. All right, I'm going to move this to the side. This one is dry, and now what I can do is cut out my piece here. So just position it how I like. And then I'm just going to mark it on the outline here. And then we can cut this out. So you can either use an X-Acto knife on a self-healing board or just with a pair of scissors, cut out your piece. All right, I'm just going to cut this out and I'll be right back. Okay, I have cut out my speckled pieces of background paper, as you can see here. And then of course on the other side of this one, I had gold. So basically interchangeable, and I'm going to remove the film on this one. So you can just see how the backing comes off easily here. So now you have a nice glass finish, and then this was the side that we inked, so that's the side that I will actually put down on the page. But as you can see here, now we've got some really neat transparent effects here, just so you can see how this will look. Basically, for these ones, these are the 3M strips. You just clip them on and it comes with a backing, and then you just hang that like so. And because it's plastic, it's not very heavy, and that will look great there. And then this one, you can do the same thing with the gold and hang that how you wish on your wall. And of course, you can take these pieces out as well. So there you have it, guys. There are my finished framed funky rainbow art, and I think they turned out super cute. I really like them. So simple, inexpensive, and like I said, you could change these out to whatever side you'd like, make them interchangeable, and change up your art really quickly and inexpensively. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and a share, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly art videos. Thanks so much for watching, and take care. We'll see you guys again real soon.